Okay, hear me out. Jack Dawson didn't die. He let go of the door, sure, but he didn't sink. He swam. He survived the Atlantic, washed up on shore, and realized that being poor was the only reason he almost died. So he changed his name to Jay Gatsby, started bootlegging, and spent the next decade trying to recreate the luxury of the ship that tried to kill him. Titanic isn't a tragedy. It's the origin story of the greatest con man in American literature. In 1997, James Cameron gave us the ultimate romantic sacrifice. A boy from steerage gives his life to save the rich girl he loves. It's poetic, it's beautiful, and it is a lie. In 2013, Baz Luhrmann gave us The Great Gatsby, a story about a mysterious millionaire with a shady past, obsessed with the past, who throws lavish parties for people he doesn't even like. We treat these as two separate Leo DiCaprio performances. But look at the timeline. Titanic sinks in 1912, Gatsby takes place in 1922. That is a perfect 10-year gap. A 10-year gap where a traumatized drifter named Jack could reinvent himself into an American prince named Jay. Today, I'm going to prove to you that the old sport isn't a catchphrase. It's a disguise. First, we have to address the elephant in the ocean, the door. We've argued about this for 20 years. There was room for two. Buoyancy physics. Here's the truth. Jack Dawson is a survivor. He's a street rat. He won his ticket in a poker game. He survives on wit and luck. But more importantly, he knows the cold.
Ever been to Wisconsin? Well, they have some of the coldest winters around. I grew up there near Chippewa Falls. I fell through some thin ice. And I'm telling you, water that cold, like right down there, it hits you like 1,000 knives stabbing you all over your body.
Jack grew up ice fishing in Wisconsin. He knows exactly what freezing water feels like. He knows how to control his breathing. While everyone else panicked and hyperventilated, Jack went into a survival trance. When he lets go of Rose, he doesn't sink. He sees a lifeboat rowing back, the one Rose calls out to. He knows they won't pick up a gutter rat if they think he's dead, so he floats. He waits, and when Rose is safe on the Carpathia, he smuggles himself aboard separately. Why didn't he find her? Because he realized something in that water. Love isn't enough. Being poor almost got him killed. Being poor meant Cal Hockley could frame him for theft and shoot at him. He decided in that freezing water that Jack Dawson, the pauper, had to die so Jay Gatsby could be born. But how does a poor artist become a millionaire in 10 years? He didn't just win the lottery, he stole a life. In The Great Gatsby, we learn that Gatsby was a war hero in World War I. He shows Nick Carraway a medal from Montenegro. After the Titanic, Jack had nowhere to go. No money, no ID. So what does a young man with no future do in 1914? He enlists. The war was the perfect cover. The trenches were muddy and chaotic, the perfect place for a man to disappear. My theory? Jack Dawson met a man named Jay Gats, or Gatsby, in the trenches. That man died. Jack took his dog tags. He pulled a Don Draper. He returned to America not as the immigrant boy who almost froze, but as a decorated officer. The war taught him how to lead, how to kill, and how to command respect. Skills he would need to run a bootlegging empire. Let's look at the skill set. Jack is a gambler, a hustler. He talks his way onto the ship. He charms the upper class at dinner by pretending to be something he isn't. Now look at Gatsby. He is a liar. He invents a fake backstory about being from a wealthy family.
I'm the son of some very wealthy people from the Middle West. Sadly, all of them are dead now.
He makes his fortune through bootlegging and gambling, fixing the 1919 World Series. It is the exact same hustle, just scaled up. Jack won a ticket with a pair of tens. Gatsby won a mansion with a network of illegal booze. Why does Gatsby say old sport constantly?
Old sport, 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 old sport.
It sounds fake. It sounds like someone pretending to be rich. Who did Jack Dawson hear speak like that? Cal Hockley. Jack adopted the affectations of the men who hated him. He studied Cal Hockley's voice, his posture, his arrogance. He thought that if he sounded like the man who tried to kill him, he would finally be safe. Old Sport is Jack's vocal armor. Now look at the house. Gatsby's mansion isn't just a house, it is a reconstruction. Look at the stairs, the high ceilings, the chandeliers. Gatsby built a landlocked Titanic. Why does he throw these massive parties? It's not just to find Daisy. He is recreating the third-class party. Jack hated the stuffy first-class dinners. He loved the noise, the music, the sweating bodies of the lower decks. Gatsby's parties are an explosion of jazz and excess. He is trying to bring the energy of the steerage party to the first-class location. And notice where Gatsby stands. On the Titanic, Jack stood at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at Rose. He was the peasant worshipping the goddess. In West Egg, Gatsby stands at the top. He inverted the dynamic. He bought the staircase so he would never have to look up at anyone again. There is a specific neurosis that Gatsby displays that links directly to the sinking, his obsession with time. He is clumsy. He is nervous. He almost breaks time. Gatsby says the famous line,
Can't repeat the past. Why, of course you can. Of course you can.
Why is he so obsessed with rewriting history? Because his life effectively ended on April 15th, 1912. When that ship went down, Jack Dawson died. He has been living on borrowed time ever since. He wants to go back to that moment on the deck, before the iceberg, and fix it. He wants to save Rose not just from Cal, but from the trauma. He catches the clock because he is trying to stop time from running out again. If you survive the Titanic, you don't walk away unscathed. You carry the trauma, and Gatsby is defined by his relationship with water. Gatsby owns a massive swimming pool, but note the dialogue.
I haven't used that pool once all summer.
Why buy a mansion with a pool if you never swim in it? Because he is terrified of the water. The water is where he almost died. The water is where he lost Rose. He stares at the bay obsessively, and he refuses to get in the pool until the very end. And notice how he dies. It is visual poetry. The water finally claims him. Jack cheated death in 1912. In 1922, death came back to collect the debt. He dies in the water, reaching out for something he can't have. Unless he wakes up here? No, that is a story for another time. Now, let's talk about the girl. Daisy Buchanan is just Rose DeWitt Booketer with a lob haircut. Both are trapped in loveless marriages to wealthy, arrogant men. Cal Hockley, Tom Buchanan. Both are bored with their high society lives. Both fall for a charismatic outsider. Gatsby isn't in love with Daisy. He barely knows her. He is in love with the idea of her. He projects all his memories of Rose onto Daisy. Daisy is the golden girl. Rose was the golden girl. When Gatsby looks at Daisy, he doesn't see a flapper from the 20s. He sees the girl in the coat on the deck of the sinking ship. He is trying to save her this time. Finally, the most famous symbol in American literature, the green light at the end of the dock. English teachers will tell you it represents the American dream, but look at the visual. It's a bright, glowing light across a body of dark water. Jack saw that diamond. He sketched that diamond. To him, ultimate wealth wasn't a stack of cash. It was a glowing jewel. Gatsby stares at the green light because it reminds him of the blue diamond. He built his house directly across the water, not just to see Daisy, but to stare at the ocean that swallowed his past. The green light is the ghost of the Titanic's distress flare, frozen in time. So let's map out the life of Jack J. Dawson. 1912, the sinking. Jack Dawson survives the freezing Atlantic. He's picked up by a different lifeboat or smuggles onto the Carpathia. He realizes he can't be with Rose as a poor man. He vanishes. 1914 to 1918, the war. Jack enlists under a fake name to escape his past. He distinguishes himself in battle. He learns the manners of officers. He meets the man who connects him to the criminal underworld, Meyer Wolfsheim. 1919, the fix. Jack, now Jay, helps fix the World Series. He makes his first millions. He buys the mansion in West Egg because it looks like a steamship. 1922, the reunion. He finds Daisy, his new Rose. He throws the parties. He tries to repeat the past. 1922, the end. He dies in the pool, finally succumbing to the water that has been hunting him for a decade. It is a perfect Greek tragedy. The man who cheated the ocean eventually drowns in his own backyard. So, when you watch The Great Gatsby, you aren't watching a movie about the Roaring '20s. You are watching the sequel to Titanic. You are watching a man suffering from extreme PTSD, survivor's guilt, and a desperate need to prove that he is worth more than a steerage ticket. Jack Dawson never let go. He just swam to West Egg. And honestly, he probably should have just stayed on the door. I'm tweeting at Baz Luhrmann and James Cameron. Ask them why Leo plays a drowned man in one movie and a man who drowns in the next. There are no coincidences.